There are two things that like you can guarantee in life is like death and taxes. Tax time is gonna happen every year, yet somehow we get caught off guard in the week of April 15th. We're running around trying to get our taxes filed.
You could do everything correctly. Get your personal information ready, have your tax documents, even fill out the forms correctly. But if you fail to do this one thing, none of it matters. And that's filing your tax return by the April 15th tax deadline. Here with us today, we have our experts, Tanya and Melissa. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Hi. All right, we have some taxpayer questions, so let's dive right into the first question from Joe.
My name's Joe. I'm 32. My question is regarding tax deadlines. What deadlines should I be aware of? What are some important dates? I know I can make quarterly payments, but when are those due? Help, please.
Great questions from Joe.
Lots
of good questions.
The important dates to know when filing your taxes are when your taxes are due. That is April 15th. If you are a corporation, it is March 15th. And if you file an extension, they are due by October 15th. Federally, you do April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and then January 15th for the previous last 4 months.
It is important to make those quarterly payments because it helps you get ahead of your tax bill. I mean, I was actually talking to Melissa about this, and I fell behind on my quarterly payments, and playing catch up is really hard.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing is like get ahead of it, get it on track immediately.
Great, valuable information, and it sounds like Joe has some exciting things to review.
Yeah.
So moving right along to our next question from April.
Hello, I'm a new mom, and I've been really busy with childcare recently, and I was just curious if I filed an extension this year, if I will get penalized for doing so.
Great question, April, and I think this is one of those major life events where sometimes it may make sense to get the extension. So what do you have for her, Tanya?
April is me. That happened to me last year. I had a baby, and I just could not get my act together when it came to my documents. There's all these emotions, and you're just trying to be a good parent. And so April is a good candidate for someone who's just like, you know what, I might not do this right. I might leave out something that's very important, or I might end up having to do this all over again if I do it in this mindset. So taking advantage of the extension would benefit her. Don't necessarily avoid filing your taxes altogether. Just give yourself more time if you need it.
Anybody can file an extension. You just go onto the irs.gov website.
You can go online and file for an extension yourself, or you can get your tax preparer to file it for you. But you do have an extension, which means you give yourself a grace period until October to file your taxes. And so you didn't get them done by April, but you have April through October to get it together and hopefully get your taxes filed. Now, there is not an extension on that extension. You can't do that, but it does give you a little extra time.
If you file for extension and you miss that deadline, you're going to get interest and penalties, especially if you owed money as it was. You already have been accruing interest and penalties. Just because you file an extension does not mean your taxes aren't due on tax day of April 15th, because they are. If you owe, you have to pay your taxes by that day, otherwise you're going to accrue interest and penalties. You can base it if you made about the same as you did the last year. You can pay taxes on that day, and if you overpay, then you'll just get it back in a refund. You can pay any kind of estimated payments on the same site for the feds and for the state. So you can choose to do that, or you can just choose to not pay it and accrue the interest and penalties.
And yes, you are going to pay penalties, and there is going to be interest accrued, but sometimes I say peace of mind is worth that.
You need to give yourself a peace of mind and a break and take care of yourself in a different way. So do what's best for you.
April, you're doing good, girl.
Yes, go get them. What if you happen to miss the tax deadline because you're out of the country? What would you advise her to do then?
In all circumstances, if you owe money, you have to pay it by tax day. Otherwise, you will accrue interest and penalties.
And I think all too often we see people, they just don't do it because they're afraid. But don't avoid it, because by avoiding filing your taxes or avoiding just diving in and speaking to someone about it or attempting to do it yourself, you find yourself in more trouble.
It's very important just to remember every year, April 15th, if you're making income, you should know that it's tax time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a ton about the tax deadline, how to file an extension if you need it, and just all the different ins and outs of filing a tax return. And stay tuned and learn more about what to do once you've filed your tax return and if you owe the IRS some money or what to do with any tax refunds you may get.